Let me show you how pearls are formed. This is the meat, the oyster meat. And a parasite gets underneath this membrane, and this membrane is called the mantle. So when this is closed, the membrane stretches all the way across and is connected to the shell. Of course, I had to break the membrane to get the shell open. Now, a parasite works its way underneath the membrane near the shell area, and God makes this particular critter to excrete a chemical that begins to envelop and wrap itself around the irritant, the parasite. And then the more it's an irritant, the more narcissus is wrapped and poured over the irritant. And that, over a period of up to 4 years, produces a pearl. It takes 2 to 4 years to produce a good quality pearl. In a big, expensive, high-value pearl is 4 to 6 years, and they're rare. That makes them expensive. So you can see this particular oyster already is forming pearls. All these pearls can be taken out of their sac. They can be broken open, washed clean, and you end up with a beautiful pearl. Sometimes the pearls change colors. Like you can see, there's 2 different colors here on this pearl. And women love their pearl necklaces, pearl earrings, pearl ring settings. Queens have made crowns with beautiful pearls inlaid with diamonds, rubies, and emeralds. And so the irritant actually produces something beautiful. This oyster is full of pearls, and we've been learning about how they're formed. And they're irritants, parasites. A parasite gets into that oyster shell, and that oyster attacks the parasite. Life is full of parasites, irritants. I wonder what irritates you in life. I have a lot of irritants. How about slow traffic? Doesn't that just drive you crazy? How about someone driving really slow in front of you, and they're supposed to be going 50, and it feels like they're going 35, but they're probably going 45. But they're certainly not going 50 to 55. And my gracious, they're not only holding you up, you look in your rearview mirror and there's 5 or 6 cars behind you, and you're just having a fit, and you are convinced that it's a woman driver. Those women drivers, and you start getting off on women drivers, how bad they are, only to pass that car up and look into the window, and it's a 25-year-old guy talking to his girlfriend on a cell phone, and you feel so humiliated. Well, welcome to the irritants of life. I must have a lot of irritants because I'm a OCD kind of guy. I've been that way ever since I was a kid. I remember sitting on the couch watching television back in the 1950s. And we had those blonde furniture, corny black and white TVs, but it was big in those days. Like, wow, I have a television. And we had those silly rabbit ear antennas. That was another irritant. You could never get the station just right. You'd have to turn the antennas. You'd have to move them here, move them there. Someone on the couch would say, no, move it back. No, move it here. Yeah, don't touch it. It's perfect. And we'd have to go through this silly nonsense just to watch a Howdy Doody or Sheriff John show or a Felix the Cat. I'm really aging myself now because this is like old stuff. Some of you never even heard of Felix the Cat or Sheriff John. And so irritants. And I'd be sitting on that couch, and on that dark carpet there'd be a piece of lint. And I'd say, no, I'm not going to pay attention to that lint. That's crazy. Life is full of lints on the carpet. But I'd look again, and I'd try to pretend it's not there. I'd look again, I'd try to pretend it's not there. And finally I go like, I just got to go get that lint. And I have to reach up and grab the lint. How about sitting in the car and you want to wait for your wife who's driving you crazy. She's not coming in time, and you want to honk the horn, but you know you're not supposed to do that because they tell you that's rude. And so you don't honk the horn. You say, I'm going to be very patient. I'm going to resist not honking the horn, and I'm just going to wait here patiently and kindly. And then your wife comes into the car, and you have to make some snide remark about her always being late. Or how about you, the guy, late? The wife sitting there twiddling her thumbs. She doesn't even get the privilege sometimes to have the air conditioner on. She's the passenger. She doesn't have the key. And she's sitting there burning up, not only hot weather, but burning up inside because you're working on that project, that last minute thing. Honey, I just got to do one more thing. That one more thing lasts 5 minutes, and she's in the car. Irritants. Now, what do you do with those irritants? What do you do, and how do you handle people that are constantly giving you irritation? Well, you know what you do? You excrete the same chemical that the oyster excrete, and pretty soon that deposit becomes a beautiful big pearl. And that's what it does. And so what is it that we can do when people irritate us? Do you know what you do? You pour your chemical of grace. The same grace that God gives us because we irritate Him, we can give to others that irritate us. That's the beauty of life, allowing the grace to be poured on someone that doesn't deserve it, someone that's irritating you. It's easy to give grace to someone you love and care for and doing something wonderful with at the time. But irritants are a part of life. They're going to always be there, and they seem to come most with the people that we're the closest to, that we spend the most time with. And so pour grace on those people. Like the expression, hey man, give me a break. That give me a break is, give me grace. I need grace for what I'm going through. And that's what we can't forget. That's the very grace that we want God to give us, because listen, we're the irritant to others. Even though in pride you may not think you are, I am, we all are. Welcome to life. Irritants are part of the nature of an oyster. And God puts us intentionally in a place where there's irritants of life. Those very irritants are forming a pearl, something within us that will reflect the beauty of God. And I think it's really cool to think that when we die and we go to heaven, the Bible talks about the pearly gates. We've sung songs about the pearly gates. We have stories about pearly gates. But literally the scripture tells us in Revelation that there's 4 gates, and each gate is a pearl, and it's one piece. And it's almost like a fairy tale. It's huge. It's like the pearly gate could be like 1,000 miles high. It's all one pearl. But I think it's God's sense of humor saying to us, listen, because of all the irritants of life that you put up with, you allowed me to form you and create in you something beautiful. Come in through the oyster, the pearly gate, and see the beautiful things that I have in store for you. In fact, you to me are as beautiful as a pearl. I leave you with this word to pause and ponder.